was correct. That is Xongile, the female cub of Queen Karula, the dominant female leopard. I'm sure Hosana, the male, is around here somewhere, but my name is Brent Leo Smith. I have VM Dornbach on camera, and we're lucky enough to be with a little leopard. Now, they can be quite playful when mom's away, and I'm just wondering where the young male is. I think she keeps looking down to the north of us, so I think probably a good chance that young Hosana is there. And she's exquisitely beautiful, growing so quickly. It's been quite a while since I've spent some time with the cubs, so great to catch up. They've got so big. Oh, there we go. Is she off to go search for her brother, or is she just sniffing her surrounds? Now, quite often female leopards can leave their cubs for long extended periods. Oh, no, she's smelling a bit of urine. Half a phlegm and grimace there. And as I said, they spend quite a lot of time away from mom, and quite often in these periods is when they make their first kill. It's normally a lizard or a bird or a dwarf mongoose. But this is where they hone their hunting skills. So the hunting skills in the big cats, they're not really taught, as that they are instinctive. So they're born with those skills, and in these periods, stalking little creatures that they come upon while their mum's out hunting for dinner is where they perfect those skills. Where are you off to now, madam? And isn't that a pose we've seen her mother in many times? Feet up on the log, trying to get a better look of what's up ahead. Oh, she keeps staring to the north, and pretty sure Hosana is there somewhere. You can see, not starving, but can definitely use a bit of a meal, and that's what mom's up to at the moment. She's hunting. She was last seen near Philemon's Dip, quite close to quarantine, but much easier to find where she's left cubs and then wait for her to return than to track her. And Queen Karula is a notoriously difficult leopard to track. She changes direction all the time. Absolutely exquisite. Now remember, this is a live safari, so she's going to disappear, and we're going to try keep up with her. So while we do that, let's go bid a good afternoon to a highly entertaining individual who's in the strangest office in the world. Look at that absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous face. Isn't she absolutely exquisite? We still haven't got a sign of her brother yet, but I think he's in the vicinity. And she's just lying on top of the termite mound, waiting for mom to hopefully come back with dinner. Now, we've started a new game recently, so I'm going to tell you 3 facts about leopards, and 2 of them are going to be the truth, and 1 of them is going to be a lie. Now, the first fact is, I got a good one, is that in Africa and other parts of the world, occasionally big cats turn to man-eating. But the animal that has apparently eaten the most people, a single man-eater, was a leopard. Now, the second fact is that leopards can't swim. And the third fact, now I've got to think. What is the third fact? The third fact is that leopards can run at 24 meters per second. Okay, there are your three facts. Leopards can run at 24 meters per second. Leopards can't swim, and a leopard was the largest, in terms of man-eating, was recorded eating the largest number of people. There we go. Those are your 3 facts. 2 of them are true. 1 is a lie. Okay, I'm just going to move forward a little bit. And we've got Rexon joining us, so he can also have a visual. Okay, so to get your answers in on the 2 truths and a lie, you can vote on Twitter, and there will be a poll up to see who thinks what is what. But the one thing that's definitely the truth is that this is an absolutely gorgeous little animal. There we go, little Xongile. Now, for those of you who might be new and wondering, what is Xongile? That's a funny sounding word. It is a Shangaan word, or a Tsonga word, which is the local language here, and it means exquisitely beautiful. And that she is. Now, I wonder if her brother is down towards the beginning of a little river system. She keeps checking down there. So somewhere around here, possibly the little male cub is. And his name is Hosana, the little prince. Now, there's quite a few people who are wanting to come see these leopards, so we will have to make space for other vehicles just now. But I think while we do that, we're going to go look for Mom. And I think Steph might be on the track of Queen Karula, if he can hear Monkey's alarm calling. Incredible patience shown by these cubs. Now, as they get older, the female leopards will leave them in sort of more exposed areas like here, but when they're young, they're left in very, very thick areas, normally around little river systems. But now they're old enough to avoid certain threats, and we've seen these cubs be chased by wild dogs and by baboons, and they've managed to survive so far. So valuable lessons taught there. And remember, if you want to ask us any questions about these incredible cats, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or questions@WildEarthTV. Remember, when you're voting for the 2 truths and a lie, don't forget to put the hashtag Safari Live. Now, someone was asking about, look how big her paws are, and well, she's still got to grow into them. Lionheart was wondering noticing how massive her paws are. Well, she will grow into them eventually, and she's just over 9 months now. Now, as she gets closer and closer to that year mark, her chances of expiring are a lot less. So basically, leopard cubs have about a 70% mortality rate till they reach a year. And once they've reached a year, that drops rapidly down to about a 10 or 15% mortality rate, again till they reach sort of 13 or 14 years, and they get older, and that mortality rate rises again. So she's nearly there. She's learnt the lessons about avoiding hyenas, wild dogs, lions, elephants, and all the other fantastic creatures that occur out here in the African bush. So, here are the polls are in. 44% say that fact number 1 was a lie, and then it was 50% say fact 2 was a lie, and 6% say fact 3 was a lie. Well, in fact, it was fact 2, so 50% of you are correct. Leopards can swim, they just don't like to do it. And that man-eater of Rapanthwang, I can't really pronounce it, in India, was credited with hunting and killing over 800 people. So that That is the largest ever recorded man-eating spate for one cat. I think it probably got a few more added than it really did. You probably find there was actually quite a few more cats that were snacking on people at that time. Okay, so there's someone else who's trying to get into the sighting. I don't think she's going to move. We'll definitely come back here a bit later. And while we do that, James is going to show you the inner workings of some creatures. I don't know who's more relaxed, the lion cubs or young Xongile, who's coiled herself into a ball as it starts to get a bit colder and is fast asleep. Isn't that just too precious? Same termite mound we left her on. Still no sign of young Hosana. He's probably sleeping on another termite mound or a bush somewhere around here. But I think our best chance at finding Mum is to sit tight and see if she comes back for the cubs during this sunset safari. Now, the reason they like to sleep on top of termite mounds is it's a little bit safer, gives it a little bit of high ground in case anything happens to start stomping towards her, whether it be a big nasty male lion or an inquisitive baby elephant. It gives her a bit of time and to assess her options and skedaddle in the correct direction. Quite often with things like elephants, she'll just make herself, well, I don't know if she can make herself more flat than that. She probably can. And it all just depends on each unique situation, what a leopard cub will do when it's encountered by other creatures when Mom is out hunting. Now the temperature has dropped quite a bit, and the sky is darkening to the south, so there is a chance of us getting a little wet, but I'm hoping that it does rain, but after the sunset safari. Well, hi, Haley. Haley is 7 years old. Wonderful to have you with us, Haley. Very excited that you're joining us. Now, Haley would like to know, how many leopards do we have in our park? Well, Haley, that's a difficult question because it's always changing. But adult resident leopard, that means they're always around and they live here permanently. On Djuma and on Arathusa, we have Karula, which is the mom of Xongile, who we're looking at. We have Shadow, and we have Tingana. Those are probably the three we see most regularly. But down on Cheetah Plains, we can see Tundi, and we can see Nkanyeni. So that's 5. Now, also, we can see Shivambaline, who's another male down there, and Quarantine, so we're on 7. And in between, we sometimes see, what's her name now? Big female from the west, Salaheshe. We might see Ingrid Dan cub, we might see Tsakani. So there's a lot, but probably around 8 or 9 that we see regularly. Look at that. Fast asleep. Now, Andrew is on his way to come join us here. I've got to talk to him, but I'll talk to him just now. Remember, this is 100% live, so we've got to play the patience game today. And hopefully, while we're sitting here, maybe she starts playing with her brother, who I'm sure is hiding around here somewhere. Or Mom comes back and calls them and takes them back to a fresh kill. Wouldn't that be very exciting? But while we're sitting here, I think it's time to put all your brains into gear with a nearly impossible tree quiz. What do you think, Vim? All right, Vim likes cats more than trees, but this is a funny looking little tree right here. So we'll do the tree on the termite mound where young Xongile is. You can see the colors of the leaves are quite strange. Some of them are reddish, others are green. I'll give you a little clue. We normally see these trees when they're much, much bigger. But if you know what this little tree is, send your answers through to #SafariLive or questions@WildEarth.tv. There, VM showing you the bark. There we go. And now there's a very particular reason why the young leaves are red, but I'm going to only tell you once someone figures out what the tree is. So there we go. If you know the answer, #SafariLive or questions@WildEarth.tv. What is the nearly impossible tree of today? Now, Scott said he's read that the markings of a leopard are tattooed onto the skin. Is that true? Scott, I've never heard that before, but I would say there's probably maybe some pigment change in the skin where the different dark spots are, but I wouldn't say they're tattooed into the skin. I'm sorry, Andrew's calling me. He's trying to find out exactly where we are, because we're not on a road, we're in the middle of the bush. So I'm just going to help him make his way towards us. Well, someone else is talking on the radio, so we'll wait a second, and while VM gives you a tour of that exquisite coat. Oh, do you hear that, VM? Not sure what I heard. Almost thought I heard maybe Karula coming. Oh, the nearly impossible tree quiz was too quickly answered today. I'm going to have to find a harder tree. Indeed, Raisa, you are spot on. It is a jackalberry. Sorry, Andrew's calling me again. Andrew, just come to the junction, Shabam and Treehouse. You'll get my visual. Here we go. Well done, Raisa. That is a young jackalberry. Oh, okay, it sounds like I'm going to have to do a little bit more explaining to get Andrew into where we are. So while we do that, let's go see what Commander Bond is up to in the tent. Now, doesn't that look like the best way to spend a cold, overcast Sunday afternoon, curled up in a tiny little ball, as snug as a bug in a rug? Now, of course, we're hoping that Mom comes back soon, and she'll lead them back to a kill, and hopefully we'll also get a sight of young Hosana, who's probably hiding around here somewhere. But little Xongile is curled into a cute little ball of fluff at the moment, looking very, very content. I keep glancing around, but if young Hosana is lying in a little divot or dip or behind a branch or a tree, it's going to be really unlikely that we can see him. I'm very confident he's in this area somewhere, but where exactly? As you can see, it's quite a thick area. Look at that, very thick. So hopefully he is around. I'm pretty sure he is, and hopefully our patience game will win this evening, and Mom will come back and collect both the cubs. Oh, no, she hasn't moved an inch. And you can see it's getting darker now. Some relatively big clouds moving in from the south. So even though she's fast asleep, just watch her ears carefully. Every now and then they might move if there's a little bit of noise. And you see there's a tiny little breeze blowing that hair in her ear. Now you can see how still she is. Now we saw that tiny baby Nyala lying in a very similar little ball in the Moati River. When was that now? Yesterday or day before. Now, this is the same principle. If she's very still sleeping like that, it's very unlikely that a lion or hyena will spot her if they're just walking past. She will just look like part of the termite mound. We must remember that a lot of the animals out here, their eyes don't work the same way ours do, so they don't see in detail, and they see in sort of various shades of grey, and their eyes are designed to pick up movement. So if you're being still, it doesn't elicit that instinctive chase response. Now, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but when you're walking in the African bush, the most important rule is whatever you do, don't run. And that's even when you're being charged by something as big as an elephant. Okay, so we're going to sit here, continue to play the patience game. This is live, so we can't predict what's going to happen next. But while we do that, Jamie has got the other big cats of Djuma to show you. Well, it depends on your definition of high action. She has raised her head slightly. She is looking down towards the beginnings of a little river system, and that's where her brother might be hiding. If her mom was coming back in here, we would hear her calling, ow, ow, something similar to that, and chuffing. Chuffing is a puffing up of cheeks and all sort of that is unique to leopards and tigers. Only two that seem to communicate like that. Now, while she's staring there and you're looking at her, I'm just picking up my binoculars. I'm just having a quick closer look at that area that she's looking in. Well, you never know, she might have seen a lizard or a frog or a bird. And I can't see anything just yet, but at least she's not wound in a tight ball, so she might go on a little wander around as she did when we found her at the beginning of this safari. Now, even though the females will leave them in an area, they will wander at this age up to 200 meters, 300 meters from where they were left, but generally will make their way back to quite close to where Mom left them previously. Look at that face, it is just too gorgeous. Now, her eyes have become lighter the older she's got. She started off with very brown eyes. You can see they're sort of a little bit more greenish now, sort of goldy green. You can see quite a short face like her mom, not a long muzzle. Now, we suspect that Tingana is the most likely father to these cubs, but it is impossible to actually be 100% accurate unless you get the genetics. A female leopard will mate with multiple males while she's in estrus, and any male she might come into contact with, even moving up to 4 territories out of her natal territory, and that's to ensure that all the boys think that they're the father, because if a male leopard comes across cubs of a female that he hasn't mated with, he will kill them. And again, in killing the cubs, it immediately brings the female into estrus. Look at that. So we're discussing how cats see, and well, big cats in particular, like these ones we're sitting next to, and Mary's wondering, do they see in colour or black and white? Oh, in black and white, but it's not true black and white, it's more shades of grey, Mary. But they don't see colour and they don't see detail like we do. Their eyes are designed to pick up on movements. Most primates can see in, oh, look at that long stretch. Oh, but it looks like she's still going to be sitting there, and it sounds like there's some excitement happening with the lions, so let's go have a look. Whoa, welcome back. It's just really exciting. And I know I've been saying that young Hosana is right here, and he's just made an appearance. He gave all of us, including Xongile, a fright. He jumped onto her and went, whoa, and we weren't looking. There he is. You can see how big he's getting. Hello, mister. You look very impressed with yourself. You managed to give everyone a fright. You can see how much bigger he is. Yes, you are. Wow, he's grown so much since I last saw him. Now, no sign of Mom, just the kids. So he's been lurking about here the whole day, but he's decided to grace us with his presence. I heard a Franklin alarm calling a little earlier, and I assumed that it might have spotted him because Xongile was fast asleep, as she was when he jumped on her. Here we go, waiting patiently for Mom. Now, we might get some playing. They're listening to the Franklins. And they could even maybe go stalk Franklins. That is a young leopard while Mom's away. And one of their favorite pastimes, stalking, causing great fear in all the local bird life. Oh, look at that face. Look at his ears pointing directly towards where the Franklins are calling. Hello, Gigi. Gigi wants to know, how old are these cubs? Oh, there's a big yawn. Oh, yes, there we go. Gigi, they are just over 9 months old now. I think 9 months. What month are we in now? November. They were born in February, on the 2nd of February. Now, quite often you sort of guess when a leopard cub is born, but we were lucky enough to see them when they were a few hours old. We noticed their mother acting quite strangely the evening before, and she was heavily pregnant, and she went into a little cave on the riverbank, and we went there the next morning, and these two absolute bundles of joy were not much bigger than my hand at that stage. Yeah, you? Look how big you are now. Or are you going to be full of mischief? Are you going to leap on your sister? No leaping, no harassing. Oh, maybe he's growing up. Probably not, though. Let's try and move to the other side of the termite mound. Well, a really big safari live. Welcome to Xongile in Canada, who's a new viewer and said this looks really interesting and cool. It is very cool. And Xongile would like to know, when do leopards normally go out to hunt? Well, Xongile, it all depends. So mostly it's from the late afternoon into the night, but some leopards do hunt during the day. Their mother is quite famous for hunting during the day. Oh, he's come back. Of course he's come back as we move around, keeping us on our toes. Now, it also depends on where you are, Xongile. So in areas where leopards face persecution from people, they almost hunt exclusively at night. But in an area like this, where they have massive protection and are able to live their lives without any persecution from people, they will hunt during the day as well. Generally, cooler days. Now, the reason for this is that, like most big cats, they have a problem dispelling heat. Oh, big yawn. Been sleeping all day, now he wants to play. Where's Mom with my dinner? But as we're saying, they are opportunists, so like most of the wild animals out here, if something happens upon them, whether it be day or night, rain or sunshine, they will take that opportunity to get a meal. Even if they've caught something already, they will store it, stock it, and eat it a little later. Now, most animals out here have no problem eating rotting flesh, and leopards included. Where are you off to now, mister? Are you coming to come have a look at us? Or is he off to go stalk the francolins? Now, for those of you wondering and are new, a francolin is a bird, almost like a partridge. So he's gone right behind the car. I'm just trying to see. There we go. VM's going to swing around where he's off to. There is a little pan close by. He might go for a drink. Well, just keep an eye on where he's off to. Oh, he's coming to... What are you up to, mister? Oh, he's found something that smells interesting in that bush. Look at those eyes. And sister is just snoozing still, back in her tight little ball, so we're going to stick with him. And hopefully he moves out of that thicket shortly. Oh dear, I think I've been naughty. Yes, I have. I've pulled my earpiece out. There we go, it's back in now. There he is. Look at that, beautiful. Now, Savari Dean's wondering, do leopards avoid mange because they don't eat buffaloes? No, a mange doesn't come from buffaloes. Mange is generally picked up from the sand. It's a mite that lives in the soil. And so it's not about what they eat. And I actually have seen quite a few leopards in the Southern Sabi Sands that have developed mange as well. So it's not exclusive to lions, and I mean anything with fur can get mange. Impala, wildebeest, zebra, giraffe, lion, leopard, hyena. So it's not exclusive to animals that eat buffalo, and actually probably more common in the herbivore species. Well, let's go see. I think he might be going for a drink, so let's follow him. Sister still fast asleep, not even moving. We'll get there. Oh, we had a duck under the bushes. Now, this is one of the incredible things about being in a private area like this. And in these private areas, we are able to off-road. Now, the reason being that you can't generally off-road in a national park is because if you're a member of the public can go there. Now, let's see, where did he go? He might be on the other side of this termite mound. Is he? Here he is. Hello, monster. Look at that. What are you doing in the... Having a good old time. So saying about off-roading, so of course everyone here who drives the vehicles has got lots of experience in the bush, so we know which trees it's safe to drive over. Oh, he's stalking doves that have come down to the mud's edge. That's what he's doing. or he is now. I think the dove caught on to him, though. Yeah, dove's a bit quick for you, Mr. Hosana. So it seems like while his sister was snoozing, he's been meandering around, terrorizing the local bird population. What are you going to terrorize next? He seems to be searching for something to chase. So we're going to stick with him. Hopefully he finds something else to terrorize shortly. But while we do that, let's go see what incredible vista Jamie has. So he's up to all sorts of shenanigans. He's stalking around. He's terrorizing the local bird population. And the drongos are quite upset with him. But that's not going to stop him. He's looking for all sorts of little creatures. He's hoping to find something he can pounce upon. So this is what I talked about earlier. There we go. He's just pounced on something. About them honing their skills. More than likely, he was trying to pounce on a grasshopper or some other poor little unexpecting insect. But he missed. Otherwise, he'd be looking a little bit more impressed with himself. I'm just going to try and get us in a slightly better spot. Now, we're quite lucky. So normally, at about this time of the day, as it gets a bit darker, we normally have to leave leopard cubs under a year old. But due to our new equipment and having, oh, there he comes, and having infrared, we are able to stay much longer with these incredible animals. Now it looks like he's going to be making a beeline back for his sister. He's probably still asleep atop the termite mound. Okay, let's move. Get into position to see them reunite again. Well, as we've just seen that little pounce and movement and all the stalking, Alice in Ohio is wondering, who do I think is the better hunter, Xongile or Hosana? Just give me 1 second, Alice. I want to make sure we get there if he goes to jump on his sister. And Alice, I would say it's probably much of a muchness. I'd say they're probably equal in their skill at this age. Now, he's looking under the logs and everything. Now, then if we look up on that termite mound, look at that. She is watching him. She's not going to be caught unawares again. She might even start stalking him. Here we go. So, there we go. She's going to try and leap upon her brother. Look at that. Oh, look at that. See how the ears are flat? I'm quite sure he's aware that she's there, though. And this is probably a game that these two have played for hours upon hours. Oh, I can't see where he is, but he's below her somewhere. We can't see him. There we go. There she goes. So he's there, where we can't see. Let me just move again. I'm Trying to see where it's going to be the best spot. It's just a little difficult area. I'm going to see if we can peek across from this log, or we can... I know it's going to be better to go around. One unfortunately large tree, fallen tree in the way. And you can see how relaxed these little cubs are in our presence. They carry on as if we weren't even here. There we go. Some tender moments between siblings. Now, the one thing you'll notice, which is a very different comparison from the lion cubs, because the lion cubs are almost always in attendance with other lions and that, and the solitary cats, even when they're playing, unless mom's around, they're very quiet. That's a guilty look on his face. Waiting patiently for mom to return. Hi, cat in Tampa. Cat is wondering, do they still have their baby teeth? I would say not, Cat. They would have lost those at about 6 months old. So they're on their big teeth, or their big teeth are growing through now. Oh, I think it's, there we go. How's that? I think I sat on it. And that's just wonderful. We're able to spend these incredible, intimate moments with these cats as they grow up. Now, wouldn't it just be wonderful if Mom arrived now as well? There would be much excitement. And remember I said when we were sitting with that little leopard fluff ball curled on top of the termite mound doing absolutely nothing, I said, patience is key. And often the best sightings you ever see come if you are patient. Now, Megan was wondering what happens if their mom doesn't come back. Well, if she doesn't come back tonight, they'll play for a bit and then they'll snooze again. Now, remember, leopards probably sleep a little bit less than lions, probably 18 hours a day, or rest and snooze for 18 hours a day. If mom didn't come back today, it wouldn't be unusual. Sometimes she'll leave them for 3 or 4 days, especially at... Oh, did you hear that, Vam? I thought I heard her. Ow! But I think we would have got more reaction from them. I think it's my wishful thinking. So, but Megan, if she didn't come back indefinitely, would be a very interesting thing. They are probably old enough to survive. Cubs this young have survived after their mother have abandoned them. It is unusual, but it's not impossible. And generally, they would probably live a lot of insects and squirrels and dwarf mongoose and francolin and small things until they were able to get big enough to graduate onto bigger animals. So we're going to sit here in hope that Queen Karula comes to lead them back to a carcass. Now, aren't we spoilt? Because from one set of big cats to another with Jamie. Well, it seems like a lot of the playing slowed down a little bit, and obviously Queen Karula is out there somewhere trying to get them some dinner. Oh dear, and I nearly got whacked by an assassin bug, but it's gone now. Trying to climb into my boot, naughty assassin bug. But we are going to leave these leopards shortly and leave them to play. I don't think Mom's coming in there. Look at them, off they go in the next couple of minutes. And also we don't want to bash and crash at night. If they're staying in one place, it's fine, but as you can see, they're going to be quite mobile now, and we don't want to accidentally attract any hyenas while we're moving. Now that's the main reason we don't stay with leopard cubs after dark, is that the hyenas are so smart, and there's been game drives in the Sabi Sands for so long that they've learnt that spotlights at night can sometimes mean leopard kills on the ground or something like that. So they actually learnt to follow spotlights to steal their kills. But we're not going to stay. We're going to go move on and move back towards camp, because it is getting dark, and hopefully, I think we're not going to get any rain while we're on drive, but hopefully overnight some more life-giving rain will fall here in the Sabi Sands. And also, driving around in these areas in this part of the bush, you can break your car very easily. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering how we identify the different individual types of leopards, and while my hands are busy, the artist extraordinaire, James Hedry, is going to draw you some spot patterns.
I think given how magnificent my art is, I should perhaps have a beret to wear in here. What do you think, Xongile? Yes, with a pain au chocolat and a small espresso next to me. Very nice on my easel. Now, what we have here is two drawings, which are very clearly obvious as to what they are. We have Xongile and Hosana, obviously. Now, what I'm going to show you here is their spot patterns. Now, what's interesting is that I've noticed a different spot pattern on Xongile, and I don't know how many of you have as well. This Xongile has got her 3 spots, and she's got her beauty spot on the left, so that's 4. And I used to think she was a 3-spot leopard on that side, so I used to think she was a 4-3 leopardess. She isn't. She's got another one there. It's very tiny, like that, and another one just there. That's a mistake, the top one. So she's actually 4-5. That's what she is there. You can only see those if you look very carefully at her, so that's quite interesting. So we'd call her a 4-5 female. I'm sure those other 2 will get slightly bigger as she gets bigger, and he is a very clear, I think, 3-3. So that's quite nice. And, another great way, of course, of identifying them, Nicole, you've picked that up quite nicely, is by the necklace around their necks. They've all got a prominent necklace, correct? But it's all unique. Of course, all leopards have unique spots, but the necklace and those spots around the nose are some of the more noticeable features, and it makes it easier for us to identify them. I'll quickly write Xongile for you here in my best, most glorious handwriting. Isn't it lovely? I was a calligrapher at one stage, Andre. Do you believe me? No. Yes, that's a straight lie with no truth involved in it at all. And that's Hosana. Yes, very nice. Okay. Now, Xongile, of course, as Brent said, means beautiful one or exquisite one or whatever it is, which I find it very interesting still that we have in 2016, we've named the girl beautiful and we've named the boy sort of chief. Big, strong chief. Hosana means chief, of course, and the A-N-A, Hosi, means chief, and Ana means very small. So Hosana, small chief. Let's head across the dam cam where Henry is on the prowl for some dinner.